Welcome to ENG 303, Study Session 8, Types of Sentence. Introduction. The transformational component contains processes of applying rules to arrive at surface structures. While certain sentences require extensive transformations, some require very limited ones. In this unit, we discuss those which do not require extensive transformations. These are the major sentence types. Objective. At the end of this lecture, you should be able to 1. Tell us what the structure of a structure is. 2. Differentiate among different sentence structures. And 3. Give the features all the structures have in common. Pretest. 1. What are the structures of simple, compound, and complex sentences? 2. What are the differences among them? 3. What features do they have in common? Content. In terms of structure, the major types of sentence are simple, compound, and complex sentences. In this section, we shall look at the components of each. The simple sentence. The simple sentence is a main clause which can be broken down into the major sentence constituents, NP, INFL, and VP. Principally, it contains a finite lexical verb which has a subject and an object. Notice, however, that there are sentences, for example, imperative forms, which have either a verb only, a verb and an adverbial, or a verb and an object, as in come, sit down, get in, respectively. In this discussion, we shall analyze sentences in which the three major components are represented. Consider the following. Biola will not play soccer again. Tracy traveled to Port Harcourt. Hamad liked mathematics. While we analyze the first sentence below, you are advised to analyze the other sentences and show the workings to your lecturer. A comparison between the analysis here and those under phrase structure rules shows similarity in analysis. First, the sentence expands at NP, INFL, and VP. INFL expands as a GR, TNSM. The only addition is NEG. In essence, the analyses are the same, but the processes are different. While we used rewrite rules under phrase structure, here we use tree analysis. In the tree analysis, we introduce the affix hopping rule, which requires that we move an affix to the next verbal element. This is guided by morphophonemic rules, which allow us to arrive at the surface structure. Compound sentence. This refers to a sentence that contains two main clauses that constitute a sentence. This means that each independent clause contains a main verb. Such main clause may be joined by coordinating conjunctions as in the following. 3. A. Becky loved him, but he avoided her totally. B. Tari Lafeya played the music and her friends danced. C. Aduke called me, so I answered her. Surface structure. Becky loved him, but he avoided her totally. Surface structure. Aduke called me, so I answered her. In this diagram, each of the conjoined main clause is analyzed as a sentence, S. Both clauses branch from the same parent, S, and the analysis of the three S's follow the same pattern of NP, INFL, VP. At the end of the analysis, we also apply the affix open rule and arrive at the appropriate surface structure of the sentences under analysis. Complex sentences. A complex sentence is made up of a main clause and one or more subordinate clauses. The subordinate clause is attached to the main clause through a subordination conjunction. Here are some examples. A. The news that Abu passed well was good. B. Aku denied the allegation that he owed Mary. C. Lamech called me when he arrived. In the first sentence, the subordinator is that and introduces the subordinate clause Abu passed well, which is attached to the noun phrase the news, which is the subject of the sentence. In the second sentence, which introduces the embedded clause he owed Mary and is also attached to a noun phrase in the object position. The third sentence is different. The embedded clause is introduced by when, but it is attached to the whole sentence, not a part of it. Here are 3 diagram analyses of the first 2 sentences. Surface structure. The news that Abu passed well was good. In this diagram, the embedded clause is attached to the subject NP. As a dependent unit, the subordinate clause is identified as S, called S bar. The S contains a COMP complementizer that and the clause that is embedded. Next to comp is S, which contains its own subject, INFL, inflection, and VP. All these serve as a subject of the sentence. Next to the subject of the main clause are the INFL and the VP of the main clause. Notice that these components are replicated in the embedded clause. Surface structure. Aku denied the allegation that he owed Mercy. In the analysis above, the clause introducer that occupies the comp position in the respective structures. Notice that the affix open rule applies to the terminal strings to realize the surface structure. You will observe that is base generated in comp in the structures. Whether and if can also be base generated in structures because, like that above, they are not product of movements. Try to analyze the following sentences. A. Tukur wondered if Bakor remembered him. B. Ure asked if I had eaten. Sometimes, however, the comp position may be empty such that there is no subordinate clause introducer in it. Here is an example. In 10, the verb want takes an infinitival clause as complement. As an embedded clause, we expect the infinitival clause to have a clause introducer. However, this is not the case here, except in a few cases. For example, he believes that to her is human. Such clauses lack a clause introducer. In addition, the subject position of the clause is empty. This means that both the comp and the subject positions are null, that is empty. Another feature of this clause is the feature of tense. Tense is infinitival clauses are not specified as present or past. Hence, we say it has dash tense minus tense, and it is represented by to. Notice that to here occurs before a verb and is different from the preposition to which usually occurs before a noun, or NP as in 11 below. Analyze the following similar structures and discuss your findings with your friends or lecturer. 12A. He has to leave the house immediately. B. For you to understand the situation, you need to experience it. Finally, there are also structures in which lexical items, WH words, are moved into the comb. Recall that WH words include who, which, when, where, why, what, whom, whose, and how. Consider the following analysis in 13, which is derived as 14. In 13, the NP who occurs originally at the sentence final position and the comp is empty. The analysis in 13 is therefore the deep structure. The convert. To convert it to the surface structure, the WH word who moves from the sentence final position and lands in comp. As a result, it leaves a trace represented by T, and the affix open rules applies as in 14. Surface structure. Amangi wondered whom Prince had seen. Summary. In this lecture, we have discussed the different types of sentences and analyzed each structure: simple, compound, and complex. We observed that all subordinate clauses except the infinitive usually have clause introducers in comp. The clause introducer may be base generated in comp through the deep structure or be moved into comp through the move alpha rule. The comp may also be empty, as the case of embedded infinitive clauses. We've come to the end of study session 8. Thanks for listening.